Phantomaniacs. Welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. We are looking at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Cardback Craig Rock and Roll McConnell. We've got some card art that is, it's fine. It's not a keeper, but it's fine. And then the figure in the giant blister card that I still wish that they would arrange the accessories behind the figure or maybe do a slightly wider, I don't know. This long blister card doesn't look great to me. But at the same time, I'm not keeping any of these carded, so it really doesn't matter. Go on the back, we've got the multilingual file card. You know, I'm glad to have a file card. I think it's cool. And I understand why they need to be multilingual like this, so whatever. And again, I am not keeping... I'm not keeping the packaging at all. It's funny, I pondered a Mint on Card collection of these, and then, you know, once it started becoming apparent that the card art was not made by humans, that definitely became something that was completely unnecessary. And I've never been a Mint on Card guy. I'm just not. It's not, like, there are a few pieces in my collection. There are a few things that I've got boxed or Mint on Card or whatever you want to call it, and that's fine. And then, like, one of my goals is at some point, I plan to have a Mint in Box Special Mission Brazil. That is something, that's one of the few things that I would genuinely, because I feel like I should have a G.I. Joe piece Mint on Card, just because it is my primary collection. It's the thing that, oh, he's got a tab. Boo. Boo these plastic tabs. You know, G.I. Joe is the main thing. It's the thing that I've always come back to. It has, I believe, the most consistency. Well, no, that's probably not true. I don't think it's got the most consistency of anything I've collected. I'd have to sit down and think about that. But I love G.I. Joe, and I'd like to have one Mint on Card piece, and that Special Mission Brazil is the thing I think I probably would be willing to pay. Even though it's one of the ugliest Mint box setups ever. But more on that on Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. So this is the retro cardback version of Rock and Roll, and it is fully intended to be retro as opposed to some of the other ones that are literally just retro cardback. This one is designed to look more like the original Rock and Roll. And by the way, yes, this is the original Rock and Roll with the straight arm. I need to get a swivel arm so I can bag this guy up and not have him out on the shelf. And you'll notice, no, I do not have a bipod, and no, I'm not going to pay. I did not even remember his machine gun having a bipod. So whatever, I don't care. And maybe if I get a swivel arm, it'll include it or not, whatever. So anyway, you can see got the brown eyebrows like the original, giving him a somewhat Dawson look. It's got a little James Vanderbeek going on here to me, but you can see it color-wise, design-wise. Like, this is what a retro Rock and Roll should look like. Here is the original classified Rock and Roll. So just to do a little comparison, I want to zoom out, but only a little. We'll just have to move it around in the frame. He's got a little darker blonde hair. Obviously, the original had those blonde eyebrows. I have known blondes in my lifetime, many blondes actually, with brown eyebrows. So this is not crazy. Although sometimes they have darker beards, but whatever. It's the original figure design. This is it. The olive drab on him is much more drab. This is, oh, look at so here's something I didn't notice in the online images, is the bullets on his bandoliers are much more metallic are metallic. The classified one, and this didn't even bother me at the time, but I'm noticing it now. Really not metallic at all. So that's a really cool difference that I didn't know was on there. All the same parts, all the same tooling, but it's amazing what a different paint job can do. I like these darker boots. I love both of these. But this one, well, this one looks like he looked in the Energon universe comics, until he got spoilers, shot to pieces. But this is when I think in my head of rock and roll, this is what I think of. And here's the thing. Do I need a rock and roll that looks like the original rock and roll when I have the original rock and roll? Like, that's kind of the thing I'm struggling with now is, wouldn't I rather have, yes, this is the character, but an updated design that makes a little more sense in 2025, as much as I do still really dislike, let's put that to the side, as much as I still really dislike the green on these parts. Like, this is a more modern looking rock and roll, generally. But we'll put him to the side because we're pretty much done with him. No tattoos on this one either. This one also has a little pinker skin tone that I like. I can't really say I prefer one over the other one. If we had never gotten this one, I wouldn't be mad about it. And if we had never gotten the other one, I wouldn't be mad about it. Plastic feels good. This is one of the... Everything, I think, has been pretty good for a while now. I can't help but let nostalgia make me prefer this one. Oh, so here's my little plan. This is something I wanted to show. Oh, so the skin tones, it really depends on your own personal, allowances. To me, I couldn't swap these heads because the skin tones are that different, but your mileage may vary. So here's the thing I wanted to try to make them look a little more different, because I have separate shelves. I've got one shelf that's kind of the default look of the Joes, and then I've got another shelf that's specialized looks for Tiger Force or whatever. So I'm keeping this rock and roll out for now, but to make him look a little different, I wanted to see if maybe I could get this hat on him, and that looks pretty darn good. Now, I would rather have like an Anthrax hat or something, and maybe I'll make such a thing. But this is an old Jack's Pacific hat that I've just had set to the side for years and years and years because I just love the idea of an ECW hat. So, yeah, I think maybe, because that's, again, in Energon Universe, that's what he had going on, although it was backwards. So let's see if that works. Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. That looks pretty darn good. And I like the helmet that comes with rock and roll because the ear protection really makes sense to me. But again, that Energon Universe look, this is kind of what he had going on. I think I'm going to go with that. Not bad. Okay, so this guy, back to him. Let's take a look at the accessories. He's got the same interchangeable hands, which I probably won't be using either of these. His signature machine blaster that I am frustrated to see still has a differently colored bipod and a differently colored ammo box. Although this is they're not the same differently colored. I wish if this was a little darker brown, it wouldn't bother me as much. Like if it was the same color as this, I would be much more okay with it. So we're going to put, well, no, because he needs to be, I want him, I guess it doesn't matter. I was going to say I want him to be similar to the original figure, but the original figure did not have this separate ammo belt. But it would have made sense. So I'm just going to stick his parts on his belt just because I don't have the other rock and roll that way. What is this little business on his... Is this a defect? Yeah, that's not a tampo. That's some kind of mark. But to the naked eye, it does look like... It doesn't look like a production error. It looks like some kind of insignia or something. Like, looking at it not through the camera. So, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't bother me. He's got that same walkie-talkie. Looks good. That's just going to go right on the back of his belt there, just like the other one. Although, really, it might... Can we swap those? Because I think I'd rather have the walkie-talkie up here, if this is possible. And then the ammo box back here. I'll see if they... Nope, there we go. I think it'll work. Maybe. I don't know if that makes as much sense, but... I don't know if I prefer that or not. Maybe not. Got his hand blaster, just very basic, older model that does not have the port for blast effects in the front, but that's fine. Because you can guess, as somebody who does not do figure photography, you can guess how often I use those blast effects. Does this have the... Yeah, this has the port. So you can... Let's see. Well, I got to move all these giant... I've got my tub of blast effects, but I need another one. This is excessive, but just to illustrate. Oh, that doesn't fit in there. Probably for good reason. Well, whatever. I'll just pop one in there just to do it. There you go. I need another tub for the larger blast effects. Okay, so that's that. We're going to run that through there. I may or may not use that, now that I'm thinking about it. I think I would like to put, and I can't dig it out right now to see if it'll fit. And I don't know that it will because rock and roll has so much hair. I would like to just put Duke's helmet, retro Duke's helmet on him. But I'm going to leave it like this for right now. And set that up. I'd like to get some kind of cross carrying pose. Maybe that needs to go through there a little bit more. I don't know. Something like this. Something along these lines on the shelf. This is going to need to be molded a little bit. Probably heat it up and try and get it into the shape I want. This is clearly not going to stay on here, but that's okay. And then we've got a battle stand that I will not use because I don't like stands for 1/12 scale figures. But I do like that they come with stands. I'm okay with that. So there he is. There is rock and roll retro cardback variety. I think it's great. I'm happy to have, like I said, it wouldn't have bothered me if, maybe just tuck it under his arm there for now. It wouldn't have bothered me if we never got this one, but I am glad that we got it because he's really cool. And again, in my mind's eye, when I picture rock and roll, this is what he looks like. So I'm happy to have, is it necessary? I don't know, but I'm happy to have it to go on the shelf. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, yo, Joe.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.